All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me here today on this Thursday afternoon. I'll try to keep this short and sweet, but as valuable as I can to try and help you guys, move your businesses forward. Let's see, I already checked on the audio, so we're good there. So let's just go ahead and dive in, and we'll go from there. So this is the 2019 guide to Google Maps and how we can get your damage restoration business ranked in the Google Map Pack. It's a very popular topic these days, and it's becoming more and more relevant. In internet marketing in 2019, I imagine beyond. We're seeing a lot of traffic and calls coming through the Google Maps. So it's just important to make sure you have a strategy in place and an ongoing strategy to, if you're ranking in the maps, you obviously want to keep ranking in the maps. So, and I don't know if some of you guys might have joined me on the webinar earlier this year. This is kind of one piece of your overall marketing strategy, right? Like, you shouldn't just be doing Google Maps, just paid ads, just local services, just SEO, right? Like, you want to have a comprehensive approach if you're really trying to take your business and internet marketing to the next level, right? If you have multiple channels going, that ends up being more leads, more calls, more revenue for your business. But this month we're going to focus, like I said, on the Google Maps aspect of your overall strategy. So if everybody can just do me a favor, just try and stick with me and pay attention. I know everybody's busy, got jobs to run to. I'm sure technicians will be calling you for this and that and whatnot, but just try to silence your phones, get off Facebook, and just sit tight with me. So hopefully the next 45 minutes to 60 minutes hopefully will be a game changer for you and your Google Maps rankings. So some of you have been on the I recognize some of you. I think you've been on some of the webinars in the past. Some of you might not really know who I am or who Restoration Marketing Group is, but I'm just a recognized speaker on digital marketing and lead generation for restoration companies. I have a construction background before I transitioned into internet marketing. So it's just kind of helpful. I've seen both sides of the channel, right? I've been on the construction side as well as the digital marketing side. So it just gives me and us as a company a unique perspective on just understanding where you guys are coming from, right? A lot of companies don't really understand the construction game. There's a lot of nuances that we all know that come with that, right? I mean, dealing with subs and dealing with technicians, etc. But this is all we do, right? We water, fire, mold, storm, smoke, hurricanes. I mean, you name it. That's our focus, and that's what we do. So this is what we specialize in. So I appreciate you hopping on today and hearing me out. So today, what are we going to cover? We're going to cover the latest updates with Google Maps. And honestly, the speed at which Google is making changes seems to be increasing more and more. I mean, they're always testing and rolling things out that we're noticing. Especially with the local services they just rolled out not too long ago. If any of you guys were on last month's webinar, I mean, Google is definitely increasing the speed with their algorithm updates and their Google My Business listing changes. So it's just something really important to keep an eye on. We're going to go over the biggest issues that could be preventing you from ranking in the 3-pack. Then we're going to talk about our model that's working really well for our clients to get them ranked. And then, some of the tools that you guys might be able to utilize just to make your jobs a little bit easier, as far as getting these rankings go. So, I get asked this question a lot from, restoration company owners and, their office managers or their marketing specialist, sales, guy, whoever it may be. Does Google Maps, really matter, right? We've got local services now, which is at the very top. We've still got Google Ads, SEO. A lot of companies are like, do I really need to even worry about Google Maps? And, they're like, it seems like it's only relevant for restaurants, right? Or somewhere where the customer might actually go to the location. But I'm here to confirm that it is alive and well. I mean, it is the most calls that we're seeing. You know, we track this kind of stuff, right? You know, whether you're doing this yourself or if you're working with another company, you should be tracking where your business is coming from, right? Because what's working, you want to do more of that, right? I mean, none of us are doing any of this for fun, right? The whole goal is to drive more leads and more business. So we're seeing on average that 44% of calls are coming from the 3-pack. You know, we kind of have a running joke in our company. We call it the money box, right? I mean, just because so much revenue comes through being listed in the 3-pack or the, you know, money box, whatever you want to call it. So almost half the calls are coming through there. So I mean, it's huge. You know, as you can see at the top up here, you know, the local services. I've talked to a lot of companies. They're like, oh, you know, SEO's dead, Google Maps is dead, you know, Google's taken over with these local services. That's all I want to do. And I'm telling you, I mean, if that's all you want to do, fine, but you know, you're missing out on half the calls by not getting ranked in the 3-pack, right? I mean, we're only seeing still 10% of calls coming through the local services, even though it's at the very top, right? End users, they don't know what that is, so they're a little hesitant to click. So the 3-pack, like I said, definitely matters. If you want your phone to ring, you want more business, then this is something you need to be paying attention to. So it definitely matters. So, you know, just kind of show you a quick example. I mean, this is just one of our clients. And, you know, there's the good thing about this too, there's hundreds of keywords you can go after to get into the 3-pack too, right? So I just put in water damage restoration. Obviously, some good business comes through here. And here they're sitting number 2. You know, we had them at 1 too, and that's another thing that's important. Like, just because you get in a 3-pack doesn't mean you're going to stay there. I mean, this is competitive. It's a dog eat dog, right? Like, I mean, we keep swapping 1 and 2 with some of these companies in the local market. So the way we look at it, I mean, maybe it's just my competitive nature, but I mean, I look at it as going to war, right? It's me, my client, our client versus these other 3, right? And our job is to take them out. I mean, maybe I'd get a little too aggressive about it, but you know, we're here to make sure our clients win and get the business. But you know, so just being in the number 2 spot, you know, I just popped in there and looked. I mean, they got, you know, past 30 days, 31 calls came through just Google My Business alone. And that's not even, you know, that's fluctuating between the 1 and 2 spot. And I mean, so and like I said, that's 50%. They got 61 leads. These are the raw leads. So, you know, some of these people call back, you know, once our client gets the job, they'll call back through the same number, right? So they actually got somewhere around 80 calls the past 30 days. I was just looking. But 31 calls through Google My Business. So, I mean, how many, you know, as we're going through this, just think about, you know, what would 31 leads through Google My Business do for your business, right? I mean, I talked to a lot of companies. They're like, man, we would just like 1 lead a week. So, you know, if you're getting 31 leads through Google My Business, that's, I don't know, what, 7 to 8 leads a week just through Google My Business alone. So it is alive and well, and I encourage all you guys to make sure you're playing in the game and you're getting ranked in the 3-pack, because there's definitely some call volume coming through. And like I mentioned before, I mean, you can't, you know, this just confirms you can't. I mean, if you're missing out on half the calls if you're not ranking, right? You can't rely on just pay-per-click alone. I should have put in here, you know, you can't rely on Google local services alone. You know, like I said, a lot of people think just because, you know, Google put those ads in the top 3, that's the end all be all and nothing else matters. I'm telling you, the data says otherwise. So just pay close attention. So, you know, what are the biggest changes here recently that we've seen? Now, this is, you know, I probably could have taken off this top one. I mean, this is kind of old news at this point, but maybe not to everyone on here. That, you know, Google, and this has probably been a year or 2 since they've changed this. They used to have 7 listings in the maps instead of, you know, I'll just show you. Hang on, let me show you real quick. So, you know, these 3 listings you see here, they used to show, it used to be a little bit smaller, and they used to show 7 listings. So there were 7 spots that you could be ranked for. But yeah, the past year or 2, Google's, you know, shrunk that down to 3. And, you know, something else they're doing which I'll show you an example of this in a minute. If you set it up correctly, or the company you're working with knows what they're doing, you can actually run Google My Business ads as well. So you can potentially take up 2 well, and that would create 4 listings, right? So you can potentially take up 2 of the 4 if you set up your Google paid ads correctly and link it to your Google My Business, which I'll show you in a minute. And then we've got Google local services now, so this is kind of push the maps listings down a little bit. And then it's changed. And this is something else Google's cracking down on getting verified Google My Business listings. A year ago, a lot of people were creating fake listings and spamming them, and then Google's actually allowing them to rank. But Google has caught on to that, and they're cracking down. So, and that's something that they keep changing the verification services too. We've noticed, right? I mean, sometimes we'll call the business to confirm. Sometimes they're still doing the postcards. I mean, they're always fluctuating on what they're doing there and changing. But this is this doesn't show up for all markets or all terms. But here's an example of what a Google My Business ad would look like. So you've got the 3 pack below it, and then where I've got the red box, that's a Google My Business ad, right? So if you're doing it yourself, you can link your Google My Business listing to your Google Ads account, or whatever company you're working with should know how to do this and set this up for you. But see, that gives you an extra spot, right? And I mean, they're not ranking the 3 pack, but Buyer Suite Southeast, right? They could potentially be in the 3 pack and have an ad there, right? So that, I mean, what does that mean and why does that matter? 50% of the traffic and calls are coming through there. I mean, they just doubled their chances of getting a click and a call. So I mean, it can be huge to have the Google My Business ad in there as well. And then if you were on the webinar last month, we did a deep dive on local services, and these are the 3 ads at the top you're seeing. I mean, there are calls and traffic coming through here. I mean, like I said, there's still most of the traffic still coming through the 3 pack map listings below. But the local services, now it's at the very top, and it's always at the very top, right? And so Google's kind of pushing everything down the page to where it's just at the end of the day, it's just more revenue for them, right? I mean, I kind of feel like Google's slowly taking over the world, but that's another topic, right, for another day. But so that's definitely changed the game a little bit. And so now we've kind of got, like I mentioned, the local services at the top, and some of you guys may not have seen these local service ads yet in your market. Google is still rolling this out across the country. It is in most major markets now. But if you're in a smaller city like the suburbs, you might not see this. I mean, I don't know if they're going to technically roll it out to every single town. I mean, if you're in an extremely low population rural area, they might not roll it out. But that's what it looks like at the top. And then you've got your Google ads below that, and then you got your map listings, and then you got your organic and SEO. So, and just to remind you guys too, like today's topic's on Google Maps, in particular. But I encourage you guys, kind of like we talked about at the beginning of the year. I mean, you want to have a comprehensive marketing strategy in place, right? Because all these channels, I mean, there's business coming through them, right? There's people going. Some people prefer local services. Some people are clicking just the Google ads. Some people will skip all that and go straight down to the website organic rankings, right? Like everybody's kind of got their preferences on how they search. And so that's why it's important just to always think about this from a high level view and to make sure that, you're actively promoting and trying to build up, your online presence from each of these channels. It's extremely important if you're trying to dominate your local market. So just to help you guys out real quick, if you're not on local services yet, you can go to this link and get signed up, and you get put on a waiting list. Or if you don't really want to deal with it and you're busy, you can call our office and just ask for Simon. He can kind of talk to you about it and help you get set up. So 855-649-8650. If you want, our help or anything setting up the local services. But like I said, that was last month's webinar, but I just wanted to point that out since we were on the topic of it. So, I kind of just went on a little tangent about this a minute ago, but keep in mind as we're doing this, at the end of the day, you want to own the search results in your market, right? I mean, you basically want to dominate. The goal is for you to be, think about it, you could have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots on page 1, potentially 5 if you had the Google My Business ad and the Google My Business ranking, right? So think if you had 5 listings on page 1, what that would do for your just company branding, your company leads. I mean, it's amazing where, what you can do if you get your internet marketing right. So, one thing that was a problem, and I kind of, touched on this towards the beginning of the call, but, Google is cracking down big time, and they say that they've reduced the fake listings by 70% since 2015. So, just setting up a random PO box as your office and getting it verified and ranked. I mean, it's not easy these days. And they're constantly doing sweeps and cleaning out anything they think is spam. And that's why it's important to have like a company or somebody, watching this for you or watching this yourself to make sure your listing is still active, still verified, not suspended. We've actually come across too where Google, sometimes if they're just, they'll take out like good businesses for some reason. Every now and then they'll just make a mistake and they'll flag and suspend a legitimate listing. So it's, which is obviously annoying, and dealing with them on that is extremely annoying, but I guess it just comes with the territory. But Google's really cracking down on, spammers and people trying to scheme the game or whatever. So a few things that could be hurting your rankings on maps if you're currently not in the 3-pack already. You need to have an office in the city you're targeting. There's a lot of misconceptions on this, like, can you rank if you're on a like outside city, 10, 15 miles away, can you rank that city in a bigger city that's next to it? Yes, you can. But, if your office is in Fort Worth, you're not going to get into the 3-pack in Dallas, for example, right? If your office is in Fort Worth. Now you can get in the 3-pack for Fort Worth. So if you're, relocating offices or anything like that, just keep that in mind, that where your office physically is extremely important. And Google as a whole, even from SEO perspective, they're becoming more and more location relevant, right? They want to show the best results, to the searcher, and in best results meaning too, they still factor in who's closest to the end user, right, or the searcher. So location has extreme importance and factor onto whether you show up in the 3-pack or not. So priority 1 would be you want to get ranking in the city where your office is located, and then you can kind of try to branch out from there to build up your authority to start ranking in some of the other cities on the outskirts of your main city. And if you did try to do anything spammy in the past, like I said, Google is picking up on that and they're shutting them down left and right. And you want to have a consistent NAP, right? A NAP, N-A-P, is short for name, address, phone number. So if you've got like just citations all over the web, you've got like, Bill's Restoration LLC, and then one citation, says Bill's Water Restoration, and then one says Bill's Mold Removal. Like, that's an inconsistent name, right? And that does not help your rankings in the 3-pack when your business name is not the same. And then that goes, for the address and phone number, right? You just want to have the consistency across all the citations and across the web, and then that helps Google relate, like, okay, this Google My Business, we see all these signals out on the internet, these match up, so we're going to give him more authority and more rankings for that consistency, because it can actually, build your brand in Google's eyes. And you don't, we see a lot of people playing games with the company name to try to rank, in the 3-pack. I mean, we've actually done some testing on this ourselves, right? Like we're always trying to make sure we're implementing the best strategies for our clients. And I mean, Google's catching on to this, right? I mean, they're smart, obviously. They know what people are doing. So we actually don't recommend trying to like tweak your business name just to help rank for a certain keyword or anything. Just keep your real business name out there. And if you're doing everything else, properly, you shouldn't have, any problem getting into the 3-pack eventually. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight, obviously, but if you're doing everything right, you'll get there. And then reviews. I mean, reviews are more and more prevalent in ranking. I mean, the frequency of reviews, your review rating is important. And then so not only is that important for ranking in the maps, but I think it's almost the most important from a conversion aspect. I don't know, like I mentioned earlier, everybody has their preferences for where they click when they're shopping for something on Google. I personally tend to go to Google My Business as well. And then once I see the top 3, I mean, even think about this for yourself. When you're looking at the 3-pack, what's one of the first things you look at? The reviews. I look at the reviews, the review rating, and how many. If somebody's crushing everybody else with reviews, with a 4.9 and they have 50 reviews, you're more than likely going to click that listing versus, the guy underneath them or above them with 4.9 and only 4 reviews, right? Because more people have had a good experience with that company, so it only makes sense that you're going to have a better experience with that company over, Bob, who's only got 2 reviews. So reviews are extremely, extremely important. Like I said, not only from a conversion aspect to get that click and call, but also from a ranking perspective to get into the 3-pack and stay into the 3-pack. So just keep these things in mind as we go through the slides today, and just make sure you're not hurting yourself with any of these things. So I'm gonna kind of go over what we're doing that's working from to get clients ranked in the 3-pack, right? There has to be a certain formula. There's like a million things you can do these days, but you obviously just want to keep it as simple as possible and do what works, right? So there's a certain formula that we've figured out that gets it done. And some of these might be common sense, but you'd be surprised. Some of them, aren't so common sense. So just make sure as we go through this, take notes or anything, and make sure you've got all these crossed off your list and that you're doing them correctly. And I mean, and the first thing is to make sure you claim and then optimize your listing. I mean, I talked to a company not long ago. I mean, they weren't, and it's not bad, right? If you don't know about this, then you don't know about it. But some companies aren't even sure if they have a Google My Business listing set up. They don't know if it's been verified or not. They said, yeah, I think some other company might have set this up in the past, but they don't have access to it. So it's really important just to make sure, and that's why I put on here, I mean, to even have your login information. A lot of people will say, yeah, I have one, but I don't know who's controlling it. So I recommend that and if the company you're working with is controlling it, that's fine, but they can add you as a user, right? That way you always have access to your own Google My Business listing. So just make sure you have that username and password saved somewhere. It's extremely important these days. And that seems to be a little nitpicky thing, but a lot of times actually just getting the login information and access from, the owners can be difficult just because it's not on hand, right? And I mean, get it, everybody's busy and there's, this person's doing that, this person's doing that. But make sure you just get the login. And, make sure, I mentioned this too, make sure your company name, read your company name, like how it should be, and then how it's going to be across the web. Like if it's going to be Bob's Restoration, don't put Bob's Restoration LLC in there, right? You want it consistent, what your name is. Don't try to add in like Bob's Restoration / mold removal, right? Like Google's picking up on that, and it's not helping as it used to, 6 months ago or something. Make sure your website address is in your Google My Business listing. And I mean, because some people click the Google My Business listing, then they want to go straight to your website. Well, if you don't have your website in there, they're going to hit back and then they're going to move on to the next person, right? You got to make it as easy for the end user as possible to make sure your website address is in there. Make sure your profile is completely filled out. If you can, use a local number relevant to your location, right? Remember, all this is location based. And even this is even like if it's a 1-800, if it's a tracking number, that's 800 number, fine, right? Like you can actually put in local numbers and tracking numbers. But if you can, just use a local number, have a local address, don't, like I said, don't go to the PO box or a UPS store. Use your actual, where your trucks are. I mean, if you're a smaller company and you don't have a warehouse with equipment and trucks and all that yet, fine. But just whatever your business address is, use that address, when you're verifying your Google My Business listing. Now, this is something that's overlooked a lot, I've noticed, is photos. You want to put as many as possible on here. And again, people are actually, for whatever reason, people love looking through the Google My Business photos, and put some personal photos in there, right? Like if you, on a job site, pictures of your team, pictures of the office, maybe some of your trucks at a job site, logo, if you offer any coupons or anything like that. Something I've seen that's pretty awesome. You can even do like maybe a little before and after photo, right? Like, if you're removing some mold from a wall, for example, you can do, before we got to the job and then after we got to the job, right? Like, it looked terrible. Now, once we're done removing the mold, the home looks brand new. Happy client. So anytime you get any cool photos of, yourself, your team, any jobs in progress, you can even do just timelines, right? Like, before demo, and then if you do the rebuilds, you can, after the rebuild. So just keep keep adding. I mean, you don't have to do this every day, right? But as much as you can, if you get any cool photos, add the photos to your listing. And then, make sure your hours of operation are listed, and then your services are listed as well. Because Google, not all of you guys might do fire damage, but there's actually a fire damage category in Google My Business and a water damage restoration. There's not a separate mold remediation category or anything right now, so all that falls under the water damage restoration. But if you do fire damage restoration, then you want to make sure you have that listed as one of your categories in Google My Business. Then that way, if somebody's searching fire damage near me, Google will be able to scan your profile and see that, oh, okay, this guy does fire damage restoration as well. So you're more likely to show up in the 3-pack for fire damages, as well as water damage stuff. So this is just an example. I mean, it's actually pretty user-friendly interface. The Google My Business dashboard. This is just a snapshot I took. But right here from the home screen, once you're logged in, you can just click Add Photo, and that's where you can just upload a photo. I mean, it's pretty easy. Google has done a pretty good job of keeping this, like I said, user-friendly, pretty easy to do. But I just want to show you guys real quick. If you did want to add some photos to your listing, this is how you do it, right? Once you log in, you'll already be at the home screen, and you just click Add Photo, and then you can upload any photos you have. And so here's a good example too. If you see the 2 pictures at the bottom, there's just an employee in front of the company car, and then just a snapshot of some equipment at a job site. So anything like that, right? It just makes you seem real, especially because people are kind of like, they don't want to just click and see a logo, right? That doesn't say why are they going to call you to when the next guy is showing his actual trucks, employees. I mean, they're more likely to call us. They're like, all right, this is a real company. They got great reviews. I'm going to give them a call and see if they can help. So photos is just a good aspect that you can do to help out with that. Something else you can do inside your dashboard that not a lot of people are aware of is you can click the Insights tab over here to the left. And then you can kind of get, some insights on the traffic you're getting and what's going on with your profile. I mean, the way I like to look at it, the Google My Business profile is almost like a standalone website for your company. And this, like I said, this is a snapshot of one of our clients. I mean, as you can see, they had 1,300 searches where their Google My Business listing showed up. I mean, 1,300. I mean, that's quite a bit of traffic, right? Especially in our industry, water damage restoration. It's not like plumbers, right? Where there's 50 people a day that might have a faucet leak, right? We're in a low volume industry. There only might be a couple of house floods a week, right, in one city, because pipes aren't bursting, all the time, to where, carpet cleaning and stuff like that is more of a higher volume. So 1,300, I mean, as you can see, that's quite a bit of traffic. And I mean, it even breaks it down too, like branded, like, so if people are searching for your company name, you obviously want to show up. That's the yellow. The blue is discovery. So that's like somebody searching water damage repair near me, or, whatever, emergency water extraction. Is the blue, right? So most searches are, for water damage restoration and stuff like that for this client. So I mean, if you broke it down, I mean, that's probably 800-900 searches where his Google My Business profile is coming up. So that's quite a bit of traffic. So if you want to see that on your Google My Business listing, just go to Insights over here on the left. And then there's some other data too that you guys can kind of take a look at to kind of see what's going on. And just to confirm, I feel like I'm beating this into the ground, but just another insight on the photos. This is the Google My Business photos. I mean, this client, see, he's doing a killer job on the photo stuff. Over 4,000 people have viewed his photos over the past 3 months. And this is probably, like, he's getting a lot of clicks and stuff in his profile, right? It's probably one reason why he's ranking above the competition. Because you see businesses like him are only doing, 3,500-ish views, where he's crushing them, right? He's getting over 4,000 views on his photos. So, and that's easy too, right? All you gotta do is upload photos, man. That's an easy fix. That's not like you're getting crazy backlinks or doing crazy, coding changes to your website. Like, this is easy, right? This is a simple fix. So here's some, just some quick best practices that you can do. Upload photos and add them consistently. Once a week, once every couple of weeks is fine. Leverage the Google post. I'm sure most of you seen this. I think Google's been changing this around a little bit, but I think they're expiring like every 3 to 5 days now. So I'd say once every 90 days minimum. I really think it needs to be once a week. I mean, if you can really get it once a day, that'd be great. But I'd say, once a week, to try to where you always have at least a Google post showing up when you search your name in Google. Some people are clicking through and reading. You can kind of do like a little snippet on some kind of topic. So make sure, you're leveraging the Google post. And then, respond to reviews. If somebody says, hey, Kristen, thanks for drying out my basement and getting it to like new again, just respond in there like, hey, no problem, Kristen, so glad we could take care of you. We appreciate your business. Just respond. Google likes to see that the owners are active, responding to reviews. And it just helps too with conversion, right? If somebody's clicking, checking out your reviews, it sees like, oh man, like, these people are talking with their customers, they must actually care. And then, sometimes somebody might answer, a question on your Google My Business. So, pop in there and make sure you respond. They might be like, are you guys open 24/7 or something like that, right? Or do you guys, do the putbacks after the demo? Some of you guys listening, or some of you guys may or may not do the putbacks, right? It kind of just depends on your business model and what you're looking to do. But if you do see any questions on your Google My Business profile, we recommend just getting that answered, because it almost acts as like a FAQ for your business, right? Frequently asked questions. Like, somebody has it on there. Somebody, instead of having to try to do some digging to see if you do it or not, if you answer it right there on the Google My Business profile, problem solved, and they're more likely to pick up the phone and give you a call. So now that we've claimed your Google My Business profile, you've got it verified, you've got it completely filled out, You got some photos uploaded. You're doing Google My Business posts frequently. The next piece of the puzzle is we want to build citations and consistency, with your NAP, right? Which I said earlier is name, address, phone number. You want to get a lot of citations across the web from high authority websites. And then you want to make sure, this is really important, that it's consistent. Just make sure you have the address formatted the same, the company name the formatted the same, and you want to use the same phone number, right? A lot of us have tracking numbers and this and that out there. So you just want to make sure that whatever you're using for your Google My Business profile, that you're using for your citations across the web, so Google can see that, okay, this is all relevant to this company. This is more signals for your business, right? This is more authority, more rankings. And then, if you have any duplicate listings, you want to get rid of those. Especially, we do see this too. A lot of clients, some of them don't even realize they have it, but you might have duplicate Google My Business profiles out there, and you want to get the duplicate removed. We've seen where we've had clients kind of getting stuck and they had a duplicate listing. Well, we helped them get rid of the duplicate listing, and as soon as we did, their main listing actually popped into the 3-pack. So it definitely can help, or it can hurt rankings if you do have a duplicate, and therefore helping your real listing that's been verified rank easier. And Google's not trying to figure out which one's your real profile, in their database. So, what are some tools that you guys could use to get more citations across the web? These are just some companies. Obviously you'll have to pay. If you're currently working with a marketing company, they should be doing this for you. You shouldn't have to worry about it. But if you want to do this yourself, Bright Local, White Spark, Moz Local, Yext. These are some of the bigger names out there where you can get on there and, you'll probably have to pay them a monthly fee and stuff like that. But if you want to try to do this yourself, you can. These are some of the big names that do a pretty good job of getting some citations out there for you, and you can build up, your authority from getting these citations. So just as an example, this was a client that came to us and they wanted, hey, I just want to see, if you don't know what your current citations look like, this is just an example, right? Like this guy thought, oh yeah, everything's good. I'm sure, my business name's fine out there. So we ran this report, and look, his score is a 33 out of 100, and he's only got, out of the top 34 sites with high authority. You can get hundreds of citations, right? But there's some of them that are more relevant and more authoritative than others, right? So out of the top 34, he only had 16, and out of those 16, 14 of them were wrong, right? So that's where, you might think, yeah, I got plenty of citations, I'm good. Well, if you have 16 and 14 have errors, you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot, right? It's not doing you a whole lot of good. So that's why it's extremely important to make sure that not only do you have citations, but you want to make sure they're clean citations, and the business name, the phone number, and everything is lining up properly. So if you want us to look at this for you, a lot of times I talk to people, they're like, man, I just don't have time, to just deal with this. Can y'all just, run a report for me and just handle it? And, sure. If you want us to take a look at this for you and kind of see what you've done well, or where you might need some improvements as far as your citations go, we'll run a free report for you since you guys are on this webinar. Appreciate you hopping on. So I'll put a link in the chat box for you if you want to hop, just get on the calendar, and then give us your website, and that way we can do our due diligence and run the report for you. And then we can kind of hop on a phone call and just talk, and we can kind of let you know how your citation report is looking. So I'll put the hang on, let's see if there's any comments too while I'm doing this. Can you put the link in the chat? Yeah, Lisa, I just put the link in there for you. So just set up a call and we can take a look at it for you, no problem. And if you don't want to use the link too, you can just call the office 855-649-8650 and ask to speak with Simon, and he'll get you all set up. So, if you already have a means to do this, run a citation report, see how everything's looking, and if you're getting a bunch of errors, then create a little list for yourself or whatever, and start getting some of these corrected, as you go. So, there's the phone number again if you just want to do that. I put the link in the chat box if you just want to get with us on it. We can take a look for you. So best practices as far as citations go. Again, at least the starting point, before you do anything, I would recommend claiming and optimizing your Google My Business profile, right? Get it verified, go through that whole process, and that's kind of the starting point. And then, use one of the tools I shared with you guys to, get the top 50 citations going, synced, get the NAP consistent across the web. If you're currently working with a company, they should be doing this for you. Like I said, if you want us to help you do some of this, reach out to us. We can help you. If you want to do it on your own, I shared, some of the tools you guys can get out there and get going. And then, one thing I haven't mentioned yet that can be really powerful is if you know of any, restoration directories of where you can get your citation listed, right? Like if it's specific to your, like the local chamber of commerce, that could be a good high authority citation for you to get that's location relevant to your market, right? So that would be like a location relevant citation, but there also will be several restoration industry type citations or websites out there that you can get your NAP or NAP listed on their website, right? And then that'll give you relevancy, give your website and your Google My Business relevancy to the niche, right? It says, oh man, these people are all about restoration. We'll give them more authority, signal points for being listed there, which ultimately helps, with your website as well as your Google My Business ranking. So now we've got the first two pieces knocked out. We've got an optimized, set up, verified profile. We've got citations in place that are consistent. So now we're going to move on to the third piece, which is lots of real reviews. And again, this is probably I think this is one of the most important factors. And based on what I've seen, this is trending, I think, more and more, become more and more relevant. I don't see this, because there's some things that kind of come and go. Reviews. I mean, think about how you guys shop on Amazon. You look at reviews, yes. I mean, when I shop on Google My Business, what do I look at? First thing, reviews. I mean, it's how I shop for anything. I imagine a lot of you on the call today probably shop the same way. I mean, because reviews kind of tell a story, right? Whether you want to do business or not. And I mean, this is just an example. One of our clients, he's sitting at number 2 in the map pack. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I notice is he's number 2, but look at his reviews compared to everybody else. And Serve Pro, if you're on here, Serve Pro Springfield or Valor Mold, like, not trying to say anything bad, but I think it's obvious that, 62 5-star reviews compared to 5 3.4 rating and 7 3.9. I mean, who are you going to call? I mean, it's just obvious to me, right? Like, so you need to have a strategy in place to get more reviews. And I mean, it's just critical, because I can almost promise you, it's the first thing that stands out to me. I think it's critical. I mean, he's dominating them on reviews, and I mean, he's our client, so I'm gonna make sure he takes the top spot too. Like I said, that's just the competitive side that comes out in me, but he's gonna get pushed to the top, and the more reviews he's getting, I mean, it's gonna help push him up there too, right? So you need to have a strategy for driving consistent reviews. right? So there's tools that you can use to, our clients, we have an app that their technicians get to use, and they can, when they can request a review right there from the job, from the technician's cell phone, right? He can get the number or email of the customer, and then right there on the spot, he can hit send in the app, and then it goes straight to the customer's phone. So whatever company, if you're doing this yourself or you're working with another marketing company, you should have some sort of way to request a review right there on the spot, and that'll, in your conversion rate of review requests to actually getting reviews will skyrocket if you do it right there on the job. And another strategy you could test is leaving a printed review card with the customer, just like a little reminder, hey, when you get a chance, please go to our Google My Business listing and leave us a review. That's just a strategy. It's not my favorite because it's going to get lost in the mail or their stack of paperwork, right? But I do recommend training your techs. Well, this is where it all starts, right? To let your techs know reviews are extremely important. You're going to be actively trying to acquire more and more. And it starts with them having to deliver a world-class experience, right? They can't, because if bad reviews are going to have the opposite effect, right? They're not going to help you. So make sure, your techs are aware that you're going to be trying to get more and more reviews. And it's basically going to be based on their service. So, to be blunt about it, they better be doing a damn good job, right? Otherwise, it's going to hurt your efforts, right? So make sure your techs are doing a good job and keeping the customer in mind. And, kind of already touched on this, but, a lot of our clients are talking with their techs about this. And, once all right, let's say I've already done the mold removal job, client's happy, the technician can go up to, Debbie and just say, hey, Debbie, obviously you want to make sure she's happy and satisfied before you do this. But if, there's good rapport between the tech and the client, she's happy, say, hey, Debbie, if you don't mind, could I text you a link to our Google My Business listing, and could you leave a few good words for us? As long as your tech did a good job, Debbie's probably going to be more willing to go ahead and knock it out right there on the spot. That's one of the biggest conversion things we've seen our clients do, is just get the tech, do it right there on the spot while the client's happy, get it over with, and then he can move on to the next job, right? The more time between when the job's done and then the review request is made, the less likely it is to get done. If you just email them when you get back to the office, that can work, but it's going to, we're all getting hundreds of emails a day, right? It's going to get buried in the other, emails they're getting for Groupon offers or whatnot, whatever, all the junk mail we all get, right? So, that is one thing. So, whether you guys, the company you're working with has an app or whatever, just figure out some way for your tech to get a review while they're on the job site. And then, at the bottom, I say, build reviews and recognition to your company culture. You can kind of get creative with this too, right? If you've got, a team of 10 techs, you can almost do, they all approximately get the same amount of jobs per month. Obviously, it's going to vary, but, hey, whoever gets the most 5-star reviews for us in the month of August, gets a $100 Amazon gift card. So you can almost incentivize your team and your techs, with prizes or money or whatever, gift certificates, gift cards, whatever you want to do. You can incentivize your team to like, hey, reviews are really important. We want to proactively get more good reviews. So whoever does the best job at this, we're going to give you guys a little prize at the end of the month. So, you can kind of get, think outside the box with this, get creative. And, think of, have a meeting with your, your office staff or whatever, and you can come up with maybe some way you want to roll this into your company culture, and just make sure, just that way everybody's aware of just how important it is moving forward. And obviously it only helps from a ranking perspective as well. Now, the fourth piece is the on-page optimization of your website. Remember, we talked about you want to have your Google My Business optimized, and then you want to have your website linked in your Google My Business. Well, Google needs to know that your website and Google My Business, they need to see all of this tying together, right, in one big web. So this is just an example. You want to have your NAP on, a lot of times it's pretty common to see it in the footer, which is the bottom of your website. That's where this is. This is a snapshot of the footer of a website. So you may want to make sure your NAP is on your website correctly. Name, address, phone number. Make sure it's on your website somewhere, right? You want to make sure you have the city you serve too. Sometimes we come across the location is not even listed on the website at all, right? So you got to let Google know, like, all right, you service Springfield, your Google My Business needs to have that on there, your website needs to have that on there as well, right? It's pretty simple, but sometimes we all overlook the simple stuff, right? There's so many different things that you can do and tweak. So this is just a really important factor that you need to keep in mind. So that's kind of it from a high level. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. It's just important. The details matter with this, and I mean, I think so. If you're just hitting all these aspects consistently and paying attention, you can get ranked in the 3-pack. So I mean, just to kind of summarize, I mean, claim it, fill it out completely, put photos on there, get as many citations as you can, but make sure it's consistent, right? Like I showed you guys an example. Yeah, he had 14 citations, but 14 or 16, but 14 of them are wrong, right? So you want to make sure if you're doing it yourself or whatever company you're working with is doing it correctly and the citations are all matching up. You want to get your on-page, make sure your NAP is on your website somewhere and it matches whatever Google My Business profile is. And then you want to have a review strategy in place to acquire as many, hopefully 5-star reviews as possible, because that'll not only help from a ranking perspective, but I'm telling you, it's more of a conversion. Because once you get to the 3-pack, the reviews matter even more, right? If you have the most reviews, you're most likely to get the most clicks and calls. And what does clicks and calls lead to? Money, right? At the end of the day, we want more revenue, more jobs. So now, I get this question asked a lot too. Like, if you want us to do a session with you guys and kind of just take a look at your overall marketing strategy, we'll take a look at your citations, where you're doing good, where you need some help. We can take a look at your website, kind of see, the conversion elements are on your website correctly. Like I said, you kind of need it. At the end of the day, you need to make sure you have a comprehensive strategy in place to increase your online presence, increase the traffic, increase the calls. So if you want us to kind of do that, we'll do that for free for you. We'll take a look and see what you're doing right, where you might need some improvements. I can put the link in there again, or you can just call our office, ask for Simon, 855-649-8650. Again, it's 855-649-8650, and we don't mind helping you guys out with that. Appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day this afternoon, so we'll take a look. And cool. That's all we got. It's pretty short and sweet. I will sit tight for a few minutes and answer any questions you guys may have. Like I said, if you want to sit down. Yeah, I might. I'll just look at some of these comments. Yeah, I'll check that out, Mike. That's probably is a solid citation source. Yeah, Jonathan, that can be difficult. Because we actually have, I'm thinking of a client now that, and this is kind of relevant. I'll talk about this. He was asking about what if you do water restoration and carpet cleaning. So with what we did with our clients, you can have a carpet cleaning category in Google My Business. You can have water damage restoration category in Google My Business. Now you have to pick a primary category, right? Well, our client, he'll do carpet cleaning, but that's not, we all know that's not exactly we're talking $300 jobs versus $3,000 jobs, right? So he's a restoration company. That's what he wants, but he also does carpet cleaning. So we had carpet cleaning listed as a subcategory on his Google My Business profile, but we're going after water damage. That's what he wants to rank for. That's what he wants to do. And then, I would have a separate page, on your website for carpet cleaning though, to help rank organically. And that way, Google will see your carpet cleaning page, and hopefully, depending on if you're doing it yourself or who you're working with, can rank that page in the organic listings. Now, it is it's more difficult though to rank for carpet cleaning in Google My Business and water damage in the 3-pack, right? I'm not saying it can't be done, but there's a lot of variables too, right? Are you in a 10,000 population city, or are you in Houston, Texas, right, where it's ruthless? And the likelihood of you ranking for both is not as common. Or another thing, if you happen to have 2 office locations, you could target restoration with one, target carpet cleaning with the other, right? If you have 2 office locations, you can kind of cater one Google My Business profile to restoration, cater the other to carpet cleaning. That's kind of how I'd approach it. Cool. Let's see, I'm just reading through some of these comments. Awesome webinar. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, no problem, Lauren. Glad to help. Let's see, John. I'd like your help setting this up. What should I do? John, just click that link and hop on the calendar, and then we can chat for sure. Don't mind at all. Philip, great webinar. Thanks for the info. I'm going to reach out to you guys about helping me get this set up to make sure I do it correctly. I'm too busy to deal with this. No, I get it, Philip. That's why we exist, right? You guys are busy running your business. That's what we're here for, to handle this stuff for you, and so you don't have to worry about it. You deal with your techs. You do, take care of your clients. We'll take care of all this nitpicky stuff for you. Yeah, so Philip, just use that link as well, and we can talk for sure. Cool. Go ahead and put in any other questions. WJ, a citation is it's like a listing where your name, address, and phone number is listed. I keep saying NAP, name, address, phone number. So like a website, like Yelp, for example, would count as a citation. Your name, address, phone number is listed on Yelp, so that would be one citation. So that's what that means. Yeah, no problem, Thomas. You're welcome. Hopefully that was helpful. You guys got some value out of this today. Trying to help you guys out. Help you guys get in a 3-pack. If you're not there, somebody else is going to be there, right? So get on it. Get in there. Yeah, Stephanie, I'm trying to find that for you real quick. Hang on. There you go, Stephanie. These are some of the this is some of the citation stuff that you can use. All right, any more questions or anything? Yeah, Stephanie. I don't. I got a love hate with Yelp. We have a client. Um, Actually, it was the client I was showing you guys. I mean, he's crushing it right now. And before he came on to us, he was paying Yelp for their for the Yelp ads or whatever. Well, he was getting calls, from everything else we're doing. He's like, man, I don't even need Yelp anymore. So he quit paying Yelp for their advertising. Now, here's the crappy part about that is I didn't see this, but he said this happened. He had like 14, 15 5-star reviews on Yelp. And this is what he told me. I don't like I said, I don't know if it's true or not. Having a Yelp listing is important, right, for citation. Now, whether you want to pay for it, he says he doesn't even think he really got that many calls through Yelp. But he says when he quit paying them, that like all of his reviews went away except 2. And I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know if that's true or not, but he's like, Jamie, I swear we had 14, 15 5-star reviews. Now we have 2. And he thinks it's because he quit paying Yelp for their advertising. I mean, I believe it. They're kind of, there's been, I think there's even been some lawsuits with them, like about manipulating their, I don't know. We don't really focus too much on the Yelp page stuff because it just doesn't. At the end of the day, you want to make sure whatever you're doing is either helping your rankings or generating calls, right? So we just haven't really come across anybody that's really like crushing it from the Yelp page stuff. So we don't even really worry about it right now because the return. You want to see an ROI, right? The return on investment just doesn't seem to be there. I mean, it's kind of shitty too, to be honest, just to be blunt about it. That they you quit paying them, they wipe your reviews. I mean, that's messed up. I mean, because the reviews were still legit reviews, right? That they got through Yelp. So yeah, there's about 2 cents on Yelp. But that's just based on experience with our clients. So I'm not really sure what your experience has been, but let's see. I'm getting a couple messages. Yeah, David, just use that link, the Calendly link I sent you, and we can get you squared away for sure. Not a problem. Yep, you're welcome. Appreciate it. All right. I don't know what that means, WJ, but no problem. You got it. About the same? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, no problem, Stephanie. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys. Last call for questions. Put them in. I'm about to run. We're about an hour, so we did good on the time, right? Didn't want to take up too much of your time. I want to make sure you guys got some info out of it. So, last call for questions. Otherwise, I'm going to run. Appreciate everybody hopping on today. Like I said, I know you guys are busy, so I appreciate that. Like I said, hopefully you got some value out of this. And I better see you guys in the 3-pack. I want to see you guys in the 3-pack ASAP. Get that phone ringing. All right. I'm going to end it here. Thanks again. Like I said, if you want to hop on a call with us and we'll take a look at, kind of your overall strategy, click the link, schedule a call, or give our office a call and we'll talk. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of the Thursday afternoon. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you guys on the next webinar. All right. Take care.